I don't think it's available now, is it? No. Okay, so none of you have it? I would hope. Yes. It will be available to buy in the tent, and then you will discover that it is 603 blank pages. The ultimate interactive novel. You get to choose your own adventure by writing the book. That's just a random page of, that's copyright stuff. It goes over the entire book. That would be cool. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to read from just a few pages, and then we're going to have a chat, and then we're going to hand it over to you guys to ask me questions about how amazing I am. Why did you laugh? Why did you laugh there? Okay, grab the book. This is so good. So I'm just going to read. I'm so organized, that's the thing. Okay, so I'm just going to read from this book. Jeez. I could read aloud if you want. Okay, I'll read. So me for you guys. Okay, this is chapter 19, okay? I would, oh, blue hair, yes, I would read from the very last, but I read the last chapter. So you can just see what. Good. Okay, this is chapter 19. Yes, okay, I will read this. Okay. Chapter 19 of the soon-to-be best-selling Skulduggery Pleasant Last Stand-Up Deadman by me. Music played. Thank you. Music played as Lakin Cross climbed the stairs into the tattoo parlor. He worked to identify the song. He'd been to a lot of places in his lifetime. Had been around the world and back again, and he'd heard a lot of music. This one reminded him of nights spent in Irish pubs, and at the old Irish pubs where there'd be a trad band playing every night and everyone would take their turn to sing. The rocky road to Dublin, and that was it. By the Dubliners. Many a good night was had in those pubs, Lakin Cross remembered, but that was years ago now. Back when his American accent made him exotic to the locals. The tattoo parlor was empty apart from a skinny man reclining in a dentist chair, eyes closed and listening to the music. His bare arms were inked and his lip was pierced. He had a short purple mohawk, new, and wore a faded Sesame Street t-shirt. "Hi there," said Lakin Cross, and he watched Finbar Ron jerk upright and almost tumble out of the chair. "Hello," Finbar said, doing his best to recover. "Hi, how are you? Sorry about that. Catching up on some sleep, you know." He turned down the music. "Something I can help you with?" Lakin Cross nodded to the photographs of tattooed limbs and torsos stuck on the wall. "I'd like a tattoo, please." "Right you are," said Finbar. "Anything special in mind?" "Something dramatic, provided you have the time." Finbar smiled. "I got nothing but time. Any other day, this place would be buzzing. But my kid would be wandering around, bumping into things, but today's a slow day." "Your kid, he's not around?" "Nope," said Finbar. "Himself and Sharon, that's my wife, took off for the day. Sharon does that sometimes. She'll say she's leaving me and she'll pack her bags and call her mother and out she'll go, but that's just her way of being funny. Not being blessed with a natural wit, she has to resort to pranks. She says I'm not respecting her rights as an evolved being. I like to point out that she's been a member of 3 cults so far, each one stupider than the one before. And when she was in the last one, she kept trying to ritually sacrifice me to her UFO super gods. I told her that doesn't sound like the work of an evolved being. I told her that sounds like the work of a loon. Hence, to prank, Nathan Cross said. Exactly. So, have you decided on a design or an image, maybe some words? Like I said, something dramatic, something fantastic, you know? I like horror and science fiction and things like that. Right, said Finbar. Well, I'm sure we can come up with something. Would you like some tea? I've got some lovely herbal tea. Sure, said Nathan Cross. I love some tea. In the corner of the room there was a sink and a cupboard and a kettle, and Finbar clicked the kettle and on while he searched around for some mugs. Ed, do you like horror movies? Nathan Cross asked. I love them personally. Do you know what might be cool? Have you seen that movie with Michael Ironside? The one where he stares at the guy for ages and the guy's head explodes? That'd be cool. You want a tattoo of an exploding head? Maybe just before the head explodes. God, I love that movie. I love stuff with psychics and things. You believe in psychics? Finbar placed the 2 mismatched mugs on the side table and filled them with boiling water. Psychics? Nah, not really. I'm rooted firmly in reality, Lee. I believe in things I can see and touch, like tax returns and tire treads. Tire treads, said Nathan Cross. Yeah, okay. I admit that believing in tire treads is a lot easier than believing in people with psychic powers. Have you ever thought about it though? Thought about what it's going to be like to be able to read minds or see into the future? Can't say I have, said Finbar, walking over and holding out the mug, his fingers gripping the rim. It was an old 18 mug, chipped and cracked. When Nathan Cross slipped his fingers through the handle and lifted it from Finbar's hand, he thought for a moment the handle would snap off. He lifted the mug to his mouth, inhaled. Finbar took his own mug and walked over to the window, sipping as he went. He stood there looking out. I'd love to be a psychic, said Nathan Cross. Wouldn't say it's all it's cracked up to be, said Finbar. Bet there'd be a lot of thoughts a psychic wished he'd never heard, or futures he wished he'd never seen. I just think how something like that could damage a mind. You might be right. What do I know? I just draw on people for a living. But I'd say if psychics were real, it'd be a risky business, hazardous to the health. What if you saw something so terrible, so awful, that your mind just kind of switched off? Like if you were forced to see it, Nathan Cross asked. Like if something had, I don't know, taken you over? Finbar stiffened. Maybe. Like I said, what do I know? But let's say that did happen. Some poor sap, some psychic is temporarily taken over by an evil entity, and this evil entity forces him to look at things that had snapped his mind. But then what happens when that evil entity leaves him? Nathan Cross had cradled his mug in his hands. I don't know. The psychic might not be a psychic anymore. He could have been short-circuited. Exactly, Finbar said. Short-circuited and no use to anyone. Nathan Cross put the mug on the nearest table and reached for the gun tucked under his shirt. And then, Finbar continued, what if, ever so slowly, bit by bit, those powers returned to him? Nathan Cross paused and left the gun where it was. So he was a psychic again. Not as powerful as he was, maybe. Well, not at first. It'll take you a few months to get back to that level. But pretty soon he'd be able to read a few thoughts and see a few futures. Might even be able to see a future where someone comes to kill him. Now, why would anyone want to kill him? Asked Cross. Just being careful, I suppose. He was once a powerful psychic. That's a risk in anyone's book. So they send someone to kill him, not a soldier, not one of their usual people. Their usual people wouldn't be prepared to do something like that. No, they'd have to, what's the word? Outsource. You'd have to hire someone, a mercenary, or a hitman, a killer. And the psychic, said Cross, he'd have seen this? Yes, he would. He'd have seen enough to know to cancel appointments for that day and to send his wife and kids to her mother's. He'd have seen enough to wait around for those footsteps on the stairs, and then when the killer walked in, he'd have handed him a poisoned cup of tea. Cross arched an eyebrow. Poisoned? I'm afraid so. A poison that'd take a few minutes to make itself known, but once it did, game over, I'm afraid. Cross looked at the mug. You poisoned that? You shouldn't have come to kill me, Mr. Cross. Cross laughed and he took out his gun. Then it's a good thing I didn't drink from it, isn't it? He levelled the gun at Finbar's belly, and Finbar shook his head. You didn't hear me right. I didn't say a mug of poisoned tea. I said a poisoned mug of tea. It was the handle I poisoned. The gun fell from Cross's numb fingers, and the room tilted and blurred, and the floor rose up to hit him. He tried to speak, but couldn't move his mouth. I saw the future where you kill me. I saw you walk up here and shoot me and kill my customer. Then Sharon ran in, and what did you do? You killed her too. Then you stood over me and you shot me twice in the head, the consummate professional that you are. In that future, you left my kid an orphan. You took away his parents. What kind of man would do that to a child? I was an orphan. I lost my parents when I was 3. You think I'd be okay with you doing that to my kid? You think I'd just sit around and let that happen? Cross, you are an evil man. You are an evil man for coming here to kill me, and you're an evil man for forcing me to do what I've had to do. I hope you burn in whatever hell you believe in. Boo.